Yeah, no clue what was up with that, Jenny said, fingers tapping the dash. You'd think he'd get the hint by that point, but I guess not. We broke up a few days later. I shifted uncomfortably in the passenger seat. Surely that was the last story. We'd been waiting in the parking lot for nearly 50 minutes. I'm sure my parents were going nuts wondering where I was. Just as I was about to bring up the time, Mike spoke up from behind me.
Oh, that reminds me of a time way back in junior year.
Come on, Mike, it's getting late, I mumbled. We really should have left by now. Pretty soon they'll close the lot or send somebody to check on us.
Don't be such a baby, Liam,
Mike said coolly, running his fingers through his blonde hair.
Besides, it's just a quick story. Shouldn't even take a minute.
I looked out the window. We were the only car left in the movie theater lot. Empty popcorn buckets and drink cups were littered everywhere. Yellow streetlights casted dark shadows through the trees. Fine. One more story. But after that, we take off.
Okay, so get this,
Mike began.
Remember that one girl I'd hung out with like 3 years ago?
Oh, yeah, I remember her, Jenny blurted. Her name was... It started with an M, right?
Yeah, Mackenzie Vollins. I thought she was pretty cool when we first met, but it turned out she was really weird. Like, I'm telling ya, you both don't get it.
I checked my watch. I was officially an hour late getting back home.
So, this one time, she invited me over to her house. The usual kind of thing she'd do. When I got there, her parents weren't home. She said they were out shopping at some store, I forgot the name.
Mike now leaned forward, his head poking between my and Jenny's seats. His heavy black jacket made him look double his usual size.
But what was even weirder was that her pets were gone as well.
You mentioned she had a dog a while back, I added quietly, doing my best to get involved with the conversation.
Yeah, huge black lab. So, I asked where the dog went, and she said he was sleeping in her parents' room. I never did check on that, but that's not important. Anyways, she led me downstairs to her room.
And then what? Jenny giggled playfully. Did you both make out? Mike sighed.
No, we didn't make out.
Ooh, somebody's defensive. Jenny pushed Mike's head, and he sat back in the seat.
I said we didn't.
Mike's voice was suddenly cold. Jenny was quiet for a moment. Geez, sorry. Didn't mean anything by it. Mike folded his arms, then continued.
So we're both in her room. She's showing me just random stuff from her closet. Old anime posters, awards from her chess club, all that. But then she moves this box, right?
Mike breathed in sharply, as if preparing for what came next.
And a hand falls out the bottom.
A what? I turned now to face Mike. He didn't look as careless as usual. He looked serious, mad even. Mike, if this is a joke, you got us. Whoops, I really fell for that one. Mike didn't laugh. Jenny and I exchanged a quick glance. Her blue eyes were flooded with worry. Is that it? Jenny asked hesitantly.
I asked her what she had the hand for, but Mackenzie denied over and over again that it was hers. She argued that it was planted there, but I knew better.
Mike paused.
She was a real sicko.
Wow, that's a great story to hear this late in the night. I tugged at my sleeves. Can we finish it tomorrow at school? My parents are gonna kill me if I don't...
So I ran upstairs.
Mike continued, almost as if he didn't hear me. Scratch that. I don't think he did hear me. I was afraid to look back at him. He was acting so weird. The inside of the car was hot with tension.
And I reached for my phone to call the police. Mackenzie ran up after me, and she begged me not to. She pleaded and pleaded to me, but her eyes gave it all away. she was guilty. Not just for the hand, but I knew what she'd done. Why her parents weren't there. Why her pets were missing. I got so tired of her lying. She knew that I had caught her red-handed. She knew that...
Nice one, Mike. Jenny fake laughed at the pun.
She knew that there was no way she'd get out of it,
Mike shouted. Jenny quickly quieted down.
So you know what I did?
Mike went silent. Neither I nor Jenny spoke.
I went to her kitchen, found the biggest knife I could from the drawer.
Without warning, Mike pounded his hand into the back of Jenny's chair. She shrieked with surprise. Dude, stop it, I demanded. I looked back at Mike. His gaze was fixed on me like a hawk. His fist was still planted on Jenny's chair. Listen, Mike, I don't know what's gotten into you, but this isn't funny. You're freaking Jenny out, and to be honest, you're freaking me out too.
You haven't even heard the ending yet,
Mike said, almost too calm. He began to move himself between the front seats again. His face was tense.
When she was over and dealt with,
Jenny frantically reached for her purse. I knew what she was looking for. Pepper spray. Wait, Jenny, don't hurt him. This is all just a bad joke. Mike is just making a bad joke. I said that mostly to try and convince myself. What the heck was wrong with him? Jenny pulled something out from her bag and pointed it at Mike. I froze. She froze too. Her eyes widened with terror. Jenny held the hand a few inches from Mike's face. I glanced at Mike, a cold sweat running down my back. Mike stared back at me, and for a second, I thought I saw him smirk. He reached carefully into his coat pocket and drew out a thin, shining knife.